Alarm NBA DFS show with Jon Impemba and James Grande.
What is going on, FA Nation? Jon Impemba here with James Grande. Welcome to the Fantasy Alarm NBA DFS Playbook Preview Show. We're looking at the Wednesday 10-game DraftKings main slate. DraftKings cutting off the two 10 p.m. games on this slate, so no 76ers, no Clippers, no Raptors, no Kings on this main slate, but by and large, a good 10-gamer here. Recording here Tuesday, no Tuesday games at all, obviously due to voting day. But we got a 10 full slate of games here on Wednesday. Grande, my man, how we doing, man?
We are doing. So yeah, we got 10 games.
10 games we do. We'll pull up the slate here. We'll go over the top spreads and matchups for us to go over on this one. Obviously, we have some notable injury news here as well. Jaylen Brown ruled out once again for what maybe we initially thought was like, a back-to-back rest thing. He's apparently dealing with a hip flexor strain. Now causing the miss, was it 3 games here? We're gonna miss the Wednesday game.
Yeah, the third game
against Golden State, which is we all thought maybe he would be in on that one, but it is not the case. So no Jaylen Brown. We also got news right before we decided to start recording. DeAndre Hunter upgraded to questionable for this slate, so maybe we'll have the return, and Atlanta getting a bit healthier after a few slates of being down somebody. So the injury news will continue to come across as we move forward here. Aaron Gordon's another big one, going to miss a couple of weeks with an injury for him. We saw Peyton Watson play over 30 minutes. Be some value probably going in that direction. We got to figure out the Jamal Murray status for this game as well. So as we come across the positions, as we hit the injuries, we'll certainly talk about them and the impact. From a game total and spread situation, Memphis, LA, 230 total there. The Grizzlies are a 1-point home favorite. Dallas, Chicago, 234. Dallas is a 10.5-point home favorite there. We have Boston, Golden State. Boston at home, 229.5 home favorite over Golden State. Indiana, Orlando, Pacers giving 7, 225. Nothing crazy out there in terms of like spreads or game totals rather, or nothing even crazy low on this slate. The lowest total on the board is San Antonio, Houston. Houston's giving 6. That's a 214 game total, but everything else is up over 220. You have the one game up over 230.
Yeah, I mean it's an interesting slate. Things could obviously change with all the injury news as well, but yeah, some fun games that we actually have the 9 p.m. games on the slate.
Yeah.
Why? I don't know.
They decided
DraftKings can't make up their mind.
Yeah, Noah said they cut off the 2 10 p.m.ers. They actually gave us the 9 gamers, so we got a 10-game slate. We'll start at the point guard position. Luka Doncic is 11-5 at home against Chicago. Chicago playing at the highest pace in the NBA, which should hopefully bode well for Luka. Now they are 10.5-point home favorites. We did finally get Luka back to the ceiling performances here. 71 fantasy points to sort of make the 11K worth paying up for. Trae Young up to 10-6 now. Coming off of a game, I sent you the screenshot. What happens when you run into Drew Holiday, Derek White defense? Man went 1 for 10.
And Neemias Queta. Did you see the Neemias Queta clip where he could not get past Neemias Queta on the perimeter?
Yeah, it looked like the vintage Rob Williams back when the Time Lord had knees out there blocking shots on the perimeter. So Trae Young had a hell of a game. Got us to bounce back now against New York. We know there's a little rivalry between New York and Atlanta stemming from the playoffs a few years ago. We finally get to play Shai Gilgeous-Alexander because, hey, they gave us the 9 p.m. Slates. DraftKings has been pretty much preventing us from playing the Thunder and the Nuggets for the most part this season, which has been unfortunate, but SGA has been pretty dominant. And I mean, this is a Western Conference Finals preview, maybe. This is going to be should be a fun one. Hopefully, a competitive one. These teams, played earlier this year. It was not that. OKC kind of ran them off the floor. Won by over 20 in that one, but SGA went for 58 fantasy points there. So, looking at the top 3 price guys up over 10K, would you rank them as their price? Do you put SGA over Trae? How are you going about it?
I would probably rank them as is: Luka Doncic, Trae Young, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. That's probably how I'd rank them. But I have no problem if you have Shea over Trey bars. But he's cheaper and obviously like, better team, more
Sure.
likely to keep it competitive, I
Yeah.
guess. If Denver can keep it competitive, I should say, against how good OKC's been, and now they're down Aaron Gordon. So
Yeah.
obviously they're plugging that hole with like already down Jamal Murray in concussion protocol. I guess we don't know if he's out, but Murray is in protocol, and now Aaron Gordon. Like, that
Yeah.
Russell Westbrook has been fine. Are we going to see like small ball with Julian Strother starting lineups? Are we going to see Zeke Njai or
Yeah.
like Peyton Watson as like? There's obviously question marks. Probably Watson or Strother get the first crack at it, but yeah, I'd probably rank them as is with no problem going to SGA at 2. I just think like Luka shot the ball horribly,
Yeah.
but he got 15 free throws, and we finally had that like boom
Assist game.
that game. Yeah, so when that happens, plus the pace up spot Dallas gets here, I mean it's hard for me to come off Luka as number 1.
Yeah, no, for sure. And was that regulation? Did he play? They went they went regulation. He played 42 minutes. That is
Yep.
crazy. LaMelo 99, Ja 92, Curry 88, Brunson, Booker got the whole 8K tier here. Halliburton down to 8K as well. We've been talking a lot of John Morant. 9,300 last time out, 91. He's kind of settling in. We've seen ceiling games. He's got a Lakers matchup where they're 1-point favorites and a high game total. 33 minutes now, 31 the game before that. So it seems like there's just no minutes cap on Morant here. How are we feeling about this next tier of guards?
Yeah, we talked about it last time. Those minutes, the last few games would have been higher if not for blowouts. So, feel good about Ja if you want to get there. He has a massive ceiling. Of course, we get the scoring, and then he doesn't give us the 10 assists. But
we got the highlights though.
I mean, dude. So, like, obviously, you and I have watched basketball for a while. Like, we haven't had like a Westbrook Rose type highlight reel player, like Derrick Rose is like my favorite. Like that was as a Bulls fan.
Yeah.
This is like the closest thing to like watching that, right?
Yeah.
Like watching someone who has from the point
Infinite
guard
ability.
position, dude, just like, just like superhero stuff. So, for sure, Ja is just so much fun to watch. And he's also very good at basketball. So, like, if you want to pay 9,200, by all means. The Curry stuff was weird. He didn't start the second half, but it was reported to be like some type of like wanted to keep the minutes where he got to 24 and he closed. So, hate that. I mean, again, we talked about it. He went out and he did like big things in small minutes. That is what Steph Curry can do, but I'm not paying $8,800 for that.
And we just saw what Boston did against Trey.
Yeah.
Right.
No thanks. Brunson, finally get a competitive game. Towns, was great as well, but we're starting to get those two just like far and away better than everyone. And OG, of course. OG's been the third option.
Yeah.
He is just stop talking about him, John, and we will get the regularly scheduled program. You just need to stop.
It pained me because I bet the PRA on Mikal Bridges, and he just like sat there and did nothing all game while OG did everything again. So
again, you need to stop talking about it.
I agree.
Like, but if we finally got the minutes right in every competitive game, Brunson's playing big minutes. So 8,700 is too cheap. This is as good a spot as you're going to get, as we've seen throughout. He's going to see Dyson Daniels, so maybe this is better of a town spot. But we know Brunson's going to foul bait, and Daniels
he also
gets a lot of fouls.
He takes so many shots and he plays so many minutes that it doesn't probably even really matter.
I'm
obviously a little bit more in tune with the collectibles and trading card world than you are, but Jalen Brunson's trading card made headlines today about his rookie season. His 1-of-1 Nebulous card sold for $300. And yesterday at auction, it sold for $96,000. So somebody got his card, sold it for $300 back when he was on the Mavericks. And then today it resold at auction for 96,000. So
I hope that person's not
not
in
on
the
the internet.
space. They're not in the space. Yeah, they're just
Not on the internet today. So yeah, his card, his one of one rookie card while he was with Dallas sold for almost $100K about 5 years after it sold for $300. So good on Brunson. So it could go there. This then Detroit Charlotte matchup is certainly appealing.
Yes.
Love Cade at $8,500. Love he bounced right back. Still didn't even shoot that well, but triple doubled. You know, we know LaMelo fouls a ton. You know, and Cade likes to get to the rim. So, and they have no centers. Nick Richards torn rib cartilage, not going to play.
Mark Williams is still doing individual drills. So, like,
right. So we'll talk about Jalen Duren. It's going to be one of the riskiest plays probably on the slate, but we're going to probably play him.
Hey, stay out of foul trouble against AD. Anything is possible, right?
True. But Cade at 85, I think, is super appealing. I like him better at value than LaMelo at 99.
Correct. No doubt. Dude, they're like very similar in roles, and one's $1,400 and one's $99.
Yeah. Yep.
For sure. For sure agree on Cade.
And then I'm not going to skip over. I'll talk about Kyrie shooting guard, but Halliburton is interesting to me as well. I understand Jalen Suggs' defense is going to be there in this game, and that's a pretty tough task. Doubles in 4 straight, 50, averaging 50 in the last 4. Struggled against the Pelicans. I don't know much more to read into that. Didn't shoot well in that game. Hasn't really shot 3-ball well all year. You know, but I kind of like, I like the AK. The AK price tag is too cheap for what this guy's ceiling could be. He's popping for 50 in 3 of the last 4.
We're back to the yips, huh? With Halliburton, he got the yips again for 3.
Yeah, seems that way.
Guess where I played Tyrese Halliburton, John?
Yeah, I did too against the Pelicans. John, the same thing.
I mean, yeah, there's nothing.
He's $8,000. You have to play him.
Agreed. And I think the key was Nembhard came back and he still dominated all the usage, right? Still took 16 shots, still had 12 assists, and was great. And we've talked about it. Like, he is a lightning rod from 3. I don't know, if he was ruined by the All-Star game.
The 3-point contest. The guy could not shoot a 3 again after the 3-point contest.
Yeah, now like has had a couple games shooting, but everything else has been dreadful. So at 8,000, it is a very tough spot. But it is one where he is someone, he's been 1 rebound shy of a triple double this year. So like he can fill it up really quick. I like the price quite a bit.
Next tier down, Fred VanVleet, Josh Giddey, Darius Garland in your 7K range, Jalen Suggs, Derek White, Kobe White in that mid 6K tier. I would love to play Cleveland, but again, I don't know if the Pelicans are going to hang in this game. Zion didn't play again. They have no McCollum. They have no DeJounte Murray. I mean, he's been coming off of a monster night against Milwaukee, but it's hard to really trust. Plus, you have 7K Garland. There's Suggs at 69 getting that Pacers pace up. And then Derek White. Derek White was in this game in the 4th quarter, still played 29 minutes for 44 fantasy points. No Jaylen Brown. So, I like Garland. I love the matchup for him, but I just don't think I find myself getting to him here.
Yeah, I mean, it's all good match. I mean, to be fair, we saw that if people have good, it's like the Milwaukee thing. If their best players have good games, that they can stay competitive. Bobby Portis went nuclear. Dame went nuclear. I'm not saying like Brandon Ingram doesn't necessarily, if Zion sits, wouldn't have a Brandon Boston going to go off again? Like, is that who they're?
Jordan Hawkins, like,
well, Hawkins is Hawkins
gonna play?
Yeah. I mean, he was he missed last game too, so like we don't even know if he's going to play. I would have interest, but obviously I'm not banking on 39 actually, and he has gone for 30. He's been great to start the year. So if you want to play Garland, by all means, but I largely agree. I would go back to Giddey if there's no Levine, who's questionable. Giddey was like the 5th best Chicago Bull in this game.
He got a floor rebounding game out of him.
Yeah,
like
right. And So like I would go back, and I know I just said like I might have sounded like Conor McGregor. I'm not Conor McGregor. If you're listening on audio, but I would go to Giddy for 30. I would Giddy up.
Giddy up,
If there's
yeah.
no Levine.
Okay.
Suggs has obviously had one bad game. They got absolutely nuked in, and then look, if you're gonna give us 37 fantasy points against OKC, who is by far, look,
Yeah.
that's the best team. I know Cleveland. That's the best team in the NBA right now. And I know Boston obviously holds the crown,
Sure.
but right now, nobody can score on them.
No.
Nobody's scoring on OKC. But Jalen Suggs did Jalen Suggs things, right? 19, 6, and 6. There's no Wendell Carter again, already ruled out. Obviously, we know Ben Caro's out.
Yeah.
So no problem getting
First game
there.
all season, he didn't have a steal. I mean,
I
like,
know, but that's bizarre. And him and Derek White are gonna like challenge each other for who leads guards and blocks,
and
right?
steals, yeah. 2 more steals and a block for Derek White in 29 minutes. Again, who knows how competitive this game is? Boston's home and they're not a double-digit favorite, so that's kind of rare.
Yeah, Golden State's good. I mean, Golden State's been good, right? I mean, they've been very good.
Wiggins is back. Heel's been playing well. So if you're going to get 34 minutes plus out of Derek White with no Jaylen Brown in this spot, like you're going to pay off that price tag. You and I were cursing Kobe White for about a half, and then all of a sudden he just made every shot he took.
Dude, he checked in at like the 5-minute mark, like checked back in at the third quarter, and it just was.
It was a whiteout.
Dude, it was a magic show. Yeah, it was a whiteout. Dude, he literally made 3, steal, made layup, assist, rebound, into a layup, and 1. I was like, hold on, we're Flames?
Yeah.
We were just at like 19 fantasy points.
He had zero production in like the first quarter. I was like, what is he playing? Like, what's happening here?
Oh, he was playing. I mean, they did lose to Utah. That is such a good Bulls loss. Like they lose to the worst.
Every fantasy player came off. Vucevic smashed. Io smashed.
Dude,
White smashed.
You lose that game. But if there's no Zach LaVine, we just saw it. Like they're gonna play monster minutes, and it's all Kobe White. It's all Vooch. Giddy's gonna have a better game. It's all Io. Like it's a 4-man show. So for sure, going right back to the Bulls.
Yep. Chris Paul, $5,900. Now they played this Houston already this year. Played them close in that first game. Played them close in both games, but we didn't get like current form Chris Paul really.
Yes.
It's basically after those 2 Houston games, he just became what he is the last 4 games that he has played. I don't know if that has anything to do with like Fred VanVleet or like somebody Jalen Green, like somebody defending him, or he was just being too passive in those early games. So like only 3 assists, 1 rebound, didn't really shoot much in those couple of games. Been a totally different player of late. If he's 5,900 is too cheap for a guy that's giving you 37, 49, 42, and 41. Right? Like, am I missing something about this matchup here that would have you off Chris Paul?
No, and people might have just been missing shots. I mean, he had 9 and 8 assists in the first 2 games. He just didn't make shots, right? 1 for 6, 1 for 3. He has 17 potential assists per game this year, 4th in the NBA, and he's behind DeJounte Murray, who's played 1 game. So he's like Trae Young, Jokic, Chris Paul. That's the ilk that he's in, right? I mean, Trae Young leads the league in assists by a mile. Jokic is averaging 10. So yeah, I mean, I absolutely love Chris Paul. Maybe no Jeremy Sohan. He left last game. And I sent it to you. Winky Christ of Established a Run made a tweet, and it was the Spurs interim coach while Pop deals with his illness or severe hopefully
episode, whatever it was,
whatever it is, and hopefully he gets back soon, has now extended Chris Paul 32 and 33 minutes in back-to-back games. So like, I'm not saying like Pop obviously played him in the Utah game, but if we're going to get that consistent minute cap for Chris Paul, then yes, I think 5,900 is just simply too cheap. And I'm not worried really at all about the previous Houston performances because you're just looking at a different player. He scored double figures in 5 straight games where you're getting shot volume. Those first 2 games, he's taken 9+ shots in 5 straight. The first 2 games he took 9 combined, right? It's like just a different guy.
Doubling up his 3-point effort
Right.
basically per game. So
Yeah, so it is 100% what you said. He is just simply too cheap, and he's a priority for me in this spot.
yeah,
Honestly,
I mean, we've been playing a lot of Alvarado, but I don't know if against Cleveland's the spot for that. It could be just Alvarado out of necessity.
yep,
Right? Like win or lose, Alvarado's. I mean, he played 34 minutes in a blowout loss to Portland. So,
yep.
but it's it's obviously a tougher matchup for him there. We talked about playing Drew Holiday. He went 7 of 11. He just played 24 minutes. So
Well over a fantasy point. I mean, he's well over a fantasy point per minute. So you get 34 minutes. You get,
all right. So you think this is a competitive game now? That's great. I guess the question is like, do they need to play him that much when Fast PP's out here just knocking down shots again? Like, they could just keep his legs fresh and play Peyton Pritchard and get less defense, more offense, sorta, kinda, because Drew's can shoot and score if he wants to, but it's very clear that Pritchard's going to be playing 25, 30 minutes probably in this game.
Yeah, I mean, either way, they're both going to play. No Jalen and no Porzingis, so like just shortened rotation in competitive games. So barring this game stays close, I have no reason to think it wouldn't. With how well Golden State's played defensively, yeah, I'd be good getting to Drew. I'd be good to getting to Peyton.
Then we have Westbrook, who playing for Jamal Murray. Now there's no Aaron Gordon as well. 21 points against Toronto. Double-digit shot attempts each of the last 2 games. Did not shoot well against Utah, obviously. But at 5K, he is paying off 5, 6, 7x the last 4 games. So,
Yep.
gotta probably
He'll be really popular. He'll be really popular
if
Murray's ruled out.
I'm surprised that his price hasn't jumped, knowing I guess maybe just because it's the uncertainty around Murray. Like you haven't actually ruled him out. So the algos are like giving, you know how you do it. You do the projections. Like Murray's still getting minutes, in the algo. So
Yeah,
it's holding the projections down. And then we got our backups. So we got DeSumo, who could start again with no Levine, $4,400 in a tough spot against Dallas. McBride, we know, comes off the bench, $4,300, has some offensive potential there. Black, Case and Wallace down here. Burks played the other day. Like, what are your thoughts at point guard?
I don't have a lot of thoughts down here. It would be Io. We saw the field agrees, right? That the field was all over him as soon as Levine was ruled out. He was the highest rostered bull of all. He was the one that the field flocked to. So he's now $100 cheaper. He played 35 minutes, kind of like we expected him. 40 fantasy points seems a little like that is what the ceiling is going to be. But it's not like he's not out there taking shots when he's out there. It's not like he's not. So, there's obviously still a ceiling at 45.
Agreed. McBride played 26 minutes. He just went 0 for 9.
Yeah, I'm good with McBride. I'm always fine with Miles McBride if that's where you end up.
Yeah. And then I mentioned Case and Wallace just because the minutes have been pretty good.
They started him last game. It's fluid, very fluid starting situation there.
Sure. Shooting guard. Brandon Ingram's your top price shooting guard. Is that new eligibility for him?
I think it's been for a few
game or two.
Slates. Yeah, a few slates.
8,600 for him. Booker 85. Donnie Mitch 84. Kyrie $8,200.
Yeah, I mean, they lost by 18 to Portland, and then they lost by 15 to Atlanta without Zion. Those are 2 different teams than Cleveland. So do you think it can stay close? Is the ultimate Brandon Ingram question?
Do you think it matters? Because he's playing 30 and 33 minutes in those losses anyways.
Yeah, I know, but it's now like 8,600, so
sure.
I'm not saying he hasn't paid it off, but
I would not play him. I'm just playing devil's advocate, honestly.
I'm more so like, do I feel like I could get, instead of just hoping that he gets me 45 fantasy points and gets me there, like, wouldn't we just play Booker or wouldn't we just play Kyrie?
I'd just play Kyrie, I think.
Yeah, I mean,
pace Kyrie, up spot, like at home.
And now look, it's very hard to like, this is the spot for Kyrie because it's always Luka. It just depends on like what else is going on with Luka. So
sure.
I'm good with Kyrie. I feel like I'm typically lower than the field. Kyrie always to me feels like if I'm playing one lineup, I usually don't land on Kyrie.
You
If
think
I'm playing,
you think he's like a better cash game option?
I think he's a great tournament
Okay.
type feel if I'm playing multiple lineups. Like if I'm MMEing or if I'm playing 10 lineups because if I'm playing single entry, I just don't know. Like him and Luca are rarely going for like
Right. These
50s
49
together.
and 50 were when Luca was going for 40, right? Like,
Yeah. So
you
like
know,
and then in this game where he's great,
he scores
39
27
fantasy
actual.
points.
Yeah.
Peripherals weren't, and now he's 8,200. So that wouldn't even pay off the price. So it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, I get it. It's a great spot. But it's a really good spot for Luca. And usually in those are the spots where like you're thinking, okay, Luca might go for 50 actual in this.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
mean,
Agreed.
I'm good with it. I'm just, I think I reserve Kyrie for multi-entry tournament.
Sure. We drop down and we have a lot of the guys we've discussed already, dual positional eligibility here. There is Brandon Miller. 21 minutes in that game against Minnesota. Did get 31 in Boston in his return game. So we know there's at least a minute ceiling at 37 fantasy points in that game against Boston. We do like him in general as a player.
Yep.
I don't know if you're concerned about the 21 minutes there.
No, they got blown out and took everyone off the
floor. Okay. You're right. New coach. So they don't play love.
No. Like if you look at LaMelo, he played like 24 minutes or whatever too.
I always like Tyler Hero. I touted him again last slate. 27 against Sacramento. He's their leading scorer, 41 fantasy points. He should be more expensive, I think. Like I just keep playing Tyler Hero. And it's not a bad spot against Phoenix here. So you got that. You got Bradley Beal on the other side of that matchup. Probably don't go Buddy Hield against Boston. I just don't want to test that defense. I don't know if you agree or disagree there.
I would just probably in this tier play Jaden Ivey. That would probably be the guy for me. Yeah.
Do you play Ivey over Hield or?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the spot is amazing for.
Sorry, I meant Ivey over Hero rather.
They look similar. It might just be an ownership thing for me, whoever is lower owned. But and also if I'm playing Cade, I'm probably not doubling up with Ivy, so I'm playing Hero.
Reeves continues to be fine. I don't think I played him more than once this year, but the numbers have pretty much been pretty good consistently.
Yeah, we played him I think right off the bat because he was like low fives or under 6K, and he had a couple of good games right off the bat.
Yeah. So he's AD and LeBron are crushing, and he's still good. He's just been fine. Solid play. 6K and under guys. Anybody stand out to you here?
I mean, if Hawkins plays, obviously 6K, he's going to take a boatload of shots if there's no Zion. I mean, he's clearly like the second option. And the way that Brandon Ingram kind of defers, he might be like, go shoot 30 times in this game and keep us in it.
He's got so much Cam Thomas in him though. Like it's like right now at least it's like only points, right?
Yeah, it has been a lot of points. Wiggins, here lies the problem with any Warrior. If you don't shoot well, they have 12 more of you guys that they're willing to play, and we saw it, right? It's like, so it's tough for me to get there, and the spot is not advantageous. Ben Mathurin started for Aaron Nesmith. Played really well again. Third straight game over 30 minutes. Third straight game over 30 fantasy points.
Yeah, Nesmith is out already. So
yeah, he's out. So Mathurin starting is fine. Christian Brown is someone who's like been super safe.
Mm-hmm.
It is not a upside play at all. But you look at the production, 24.5 fantasy points in every game this year.
Yeah.
He has double-digit scoring in every game. The minutes are great. And now they're shorthanded. It's not like an exciting play, but if you land on it, like,
doesn't this feel almost like the Vince Williams from last year, where you're like he keeps on shooting at a ridiculously efficient clip. Like, can he continue to shoot at a ridiculously efficient clip to like pay off his price point? The answer so far has been yes.
Sure.
We're waiting for the day where like he puts it all together, where he scores 17, gives you like 17, 4 and 4, 2 and 2. Right? And like gives you probably 40 points out of that. But
we have breaking news here, John.
Did AD get ruled out?
AD is questionable.
Okay.
So that is that.
Did you hear his comments last night?
No.
So they asked him about like he has hurt his foot or something like that.
Yeah.
And then he just at the end of that game he just actually landed on like the pain spot in the heel or the foot or something. So this could be a true questionable.
Yeah, they listed it as a heel questionable.
Do they play Thursday? Lakers do not play Thursday. Bulls are on a back-to-back front leg. Spurs are on a front leg.
Not Pop, though.
Not Pop, but still. Spurs front leg. Bulls front leg.
Okay.
On this side. Yep. So yeah, I guess that will wait and see when we get the roster lock for that Lakers game. Lakers 8 p.m. So we may not know. That's a lot of money to be.
That's a lot of money.
Holding out. I guess the natural pivot is Wemby
or LeBron.
But he doesn't have power forward.
I know.
So it'd have to be your util, but at least for center, you could pivot down to Wemby for $300 cheaper.
Not a bad pivot either.
Not a bad pivot. Guy if you played on FanDuel yesterday, you got 36 fantasy points just in blocks and steals.
Imagine he did nothing else. That was just his fantasy line. Yeah, just blocks and steals.
Yeah, instead of also giving you 24, 12, and 4.
Yeah.
He went for 80 something on FanDuel yesterday. And him and Jokic just right next to each other. It wasn't even a separator. If you played Jokic, you basically scored the same amount of fantasy points.
Yeah.
Center's cracked. We'll talk about it in a little bit. All right, so we got down here shooting guard. All the guys we've talked about already. Got Wells probably starts again 5,500. Trey Mann, I mean, off the bench continues to be a bucket. $5,200 for him. I don't know. Yeah, I think we'd play Pritchard over Mann, but it's kind of the same spot. Maybe a better matchup as well against Detroit.
Yeah, I think the minutes are more consistent too now for Pritchard. I mean, since Brandon Miller came back, 22 minutes for Mann in that Boston game in a competitive game.
Penny popped. Is that a Sohan correlation?
It is probably a correlation to Sohan because, but again, new coach or interim coach, 29, 38 minutes, and Sohan only played 10 minutes in that game. So he played a lot.
28 minutes.
Yeah, he's been playing like solid.
He's been playing good anyways, right? But there wasn't like a huge boost to.
No, Keldon. They just want him at this.
They want him as a 6-man.
And in this range in minutes. Like he does not ever play more.
Who starts? Castle? Castle started for Sohan in the second half of that game.
I would assume that's the direction they'd go. If that's,
That's what they did, yeah.
So
Castle is 4K.
He played what? So looking at the shifts in the second half, he did not return to the game after the 5:15 mark in the fourth quarter, and it was a 1 minute fourth quarter stint.
Okay.
So they played like their 4 starters 33 plus minutes, and Keldon Johnson.
So Keldon closed is what you're saying?
Yeah, Keldon closed.
Okay.
They played Wemby the whole fourth quarter.
Yeah,
the whole fourth quarter.
Look at his fourth quarter stats. Guy was an absolute menace.
He had 26.4 FanDuel points.
Yeah.
If you were
Yep.
Defensive rebound.
Defensive
rebound, turnover, block, defensive rebound, steal, block, rebound, free throw, shot, foul, defensive rebound, 3-point shot, missed field goal, offensive rebound, made field goal, defensive rebound.
Yeah, dude, he was dude. I watched that game because obviously I did the entire Chris Paul ladder last night, which we hit. We hit every single Chris Paul prop that was on the board last night. I bet. And they all came through because the books were super disrespectful to Chris Paul last night. 21.5 PRA, like it was like 9.5 points, rebounds plus assists. I'm like, what are we doing here? Like, do they not know? Do they not realize what Chris Paul has been doing? They didn't know, and John made money off of that. And I'm very eager to see what they set his lines at this time around as well. So Castle, I guess if he starts, there'll be some interest. Whoever, because Keldon would be super interesting if he starts as well. At that spot. Okoro started. That was big sad. 4K even now. Not going to touch him at that price tag.
4,200 Brandon Boston would be the guy. He's going to play in any scenario. He's been great. Absolutely has been great.
Not the Clippers Brandon Boston. He's got
not the Clippers Brandon Boston. and he started. And if there's no Hawkins, no Zion, I feel really secure with this because like he played 37 minutes in a blowout. Why would Brandon Boston be a victim of not being on the floor?
Sure. Where's the Magic's kid there? Is he a small forward only? Probably.
De Silva.
Yeah.
He is a power forward, I believe.
Power forward. Okay, he started. We'll talk about him, I guess.
Small forward. He's small forward, power forward.
Okay, we'll talk about them. Small forward, we go. Tatum up to 10-2. We talked about this yesterday. Tatum only had 2 actual points in the second half of that game. Had a bunch of assists, though. Had a bunch of rebounds, but he had 26 first half actual points. So kind of, he went for 55, but I kind of feel like that was a disappointment.
Yeah.
Could have gone for more. They still have a little thing here against Golden State, obviously going back to losing the championship. Draymond still likes to talk a lot of crap. Plus, we have the Steve Kerr narrative. Steve Kerr, the coach of Team USA. Benching Jayson Tatum. So
he's going to get booed out of the arena.
Steve Kerr in Boston is going to get booed out of the arena. I also think
JT's going to go.
JT's
no Jaylen Brown. He's taking so many shots.
Yeah. So
he's taking 30 shots. He's taking 30 shots. This is going to be the first 30-shot game this year. He's taking 30 shots.
And if this game stays within 10, like Vegas thinks it is, like you're going to get 36 plus minutes out of him. He's going to go for almost 60 plus. So,
dude, Golden State is 6-1. Golden State's 6-1, second best defensive rated team in basketball.
They've had a very favorable schedule.
I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying that. I'm just pointing out facts. I'm just saying.
No, that's true. Scoreboard says they're 6-1. I agree with you 100%.
You can't take that away from them.
They're playing Pelicans and Blazers, and
you can't take that away from them.
They're about to get smacked, I think. But Tatum is going to probably do the slapping there, though. LeBron, if no AD, probably ends up being your highest rostered player.
Yeah, because people are playing him regardless.
I know. And remember, we had this conversation yesterday. It's like, why are people spending $9K for LeBron? He's been super inconsistent. He's had more bad games than good games. And then for the second straight day, he double doubles. He goes for 50. Yep. Fine. If
he was better per dollar than AD, which
certainly was. So if this is what we're going to get,
right?
We're going to get 50 plus double doubles, near triple doubles from LeBron James. Then he is worth way more than $9,000. So I'm in. I'll bite some LeBron.
And 40 minutes. I mean, it doesn't really get better than that.
Nope. There was an article or a tweet or a video, something about how like LeBron's still like in ridiculously wild shape, which makes sense, obviously. Yeah. For his age there, but
dude, I feel like there's been a few athletes that have cared more about like off season than LeBron, right? Because like
LeBron and Tom Brady. LeBron and Tom Brady.
Dude, there's a reason why they are what they are, right? Yeah. I mean, they obviously take care of their bodies like other people don't.
Yeah. Yep.
Just flatly. I'm not saying
nobody ever heard what nightshade was until Tom Brady wrote a book about it. So,
I still don't know what that means, but
yeah.
Is that his avocado ice cream? Or
something like that. Yeah. It's like he doesn't eat things that grow in the shade. I don't know. But he's just not about that life.
I mean, that's just a crazy.
Yeah.
It's a different breed of thinking, right? Like that's why who they are. It's just
nightshades are vegetables like tomatoes, eggplants, and peppers.
So he does not eat those things?
Does not eat them.
Well, that's unfortunate for him because that means he doesn't eat pizza or eat like pasta, and he missing out on a really.
He says apparently they cause inflammation. Those vegetables. Whatever. Okay, sure. I don't know. Tom Brady, played forever. Probably could still play today. Franz Wagner, $7,700. I mean, the opportunities are there for him, but it's been,
Well, the Dallas game, and
then the OKC game, they're just getting blown out. He's been good, just tough spots.
He's going to go for 50 very soon.
But does he need Banchero to play off him?
They're obviously just not as good.
Right. And I wonder if defensively teams now focus to shut him down, and therefore we get. They don't even have Wendell Carter on this team right now. That's even.
Yeah. I just don't know. OKC has 6 shutdown defenders that can throw at you. Dallas just blew them out of the water, and he was. 33 fantasy points in 25 minutes. He's gonna smash.
Yeah.
Indiana does not have that with Neesmith out. They like
True.
they're with Neesmith out
And starting
Nem-
Matherin, who
yeah,
the Siakam take
yeah. I
Wagner.
mean, Nembhard's too small, and Matherin is not a good defender. At least like,
Obi? They play
dude,
Obi?
they don't have. I like the spot. I
Yeah.
do. I like the spot for.
It's a good price range though, because Butler's there at 76, coming off of a really good game. You've been in on the buckets, and he tends to get up for these sort of matchups, like going up against Kevin Durant and Booker and all them. And then Jalen Williams has been out of his mind, and he's been doing it in limited minutes for most of the season. $7,600, I would have no problems again going up against Jalen Williams in that spot.
So cool we get to play OKC.
That's what I'm saying.
That's all I got. Because I want to play Jalen Williams. He's a dog.
He is. Josh Hart's $6,300, coming back down to earth a little bit. But this would certainly be the game where everybody kind of goes off him, and then he comes back and has like 15 rebounds and a double-double.
This is absolutely the 15 rebound spot. It's a bad Atlanta team who misses a lot of shots, who plays really fast. This is the dream scenario for Hart.
Yeah.
Hart, Towns, great spots for both these
guys. Michael Porter Jr. obviously is coming around offensively. This is going to be a tough spot for him, though. Dealing with Chet or Jalen Williams defensively.
Nightmare. Just everyone. They can just throw everyone at you. It's a nightmare.
Yep. Mikal Bridges is $6K. Clay 57. Talked Matherin already. Laravia played over 30. I guess Hachimura if there's no AD.
Yeah, that's a good shout. He's kind of taken a step back the last few games, but obviously a massive opportunity would arise.
We'd have to reevaluate Russell and Reeves as well if there's no AD.
Agreed. Who has been absolutely great? OG Anunoby. So good. I mean, talk about a star. $200 million contract, 40 fantasy points in back-to-back games. Who wouldn't want to play this guy whose price has gone down $500 since the last slate? Like, who would ever talk poorly about this guy
Why did his price
ever?
Why is he the cheapest he's been all season off back-to-back 40 bombs?
I know his price he was scoring 16 fantasy points and his price was going up. He scored 40 and they're like, let's bait everybody into playing this guy. He can't do it again, can he?
Listen, very clearly I was wrong when I said that he was the only Nick that I wouldn't play. Obviously, since then, him and Mikal Bridges have basically just flipped production.
What is the movie?
Freaky Friday?
Yeah. Lil Dicky made a song about it.
Yeah.
Freaky Friday.
Freaky Friday, yeah. So sure. If you get to a 5K, that's fine. What if Hunter plays? Do they think they just throw him right back out there for 35 minutes?
No. I think that's why he ended up where he ended up. No, he played 33 and then are like, oh, we shouldn't have done that one. He'll probably play mid-20s, and him and Ricochet probably like split time
there. Okay. Keldon was there at 53. We talked Champagny already.
Tari's in 24 minutes. Good to see that he still got mid-20s.
Yeah.
But like
didn't do anything with it.
Kind of figured that would happen, right? There's always the opportunity for him to go nuclear, but if he doesn't, like mid-20s is where he's gonna sit.
Agreed. De Silva 39. Played 34 minutes, played 31 minutes a game before that. Again, Dallas, Cleveland, OKC was where he's made his debut runs. Not the most conducive to fantasy production. Against Cleveland, he had 17, 5, and 2 in that blowout. If they start him again at under 4K on this slate, I would get to De Silva here.
Dude, he's going to be good. I think they hit the nail on this.
We say this a lot. Last couple of years, the rookie classes that have been coming in have had like some like fun players. You and I might be Wizards fans now, right?
They are fun. Did you see that? Have you watched all the Draymond clips from after the game?
I did. Well, I saw the quotes. I saw that Keyshawn George was just yapping at him.
They were talking smack, and he said he was just basically talking about how much respect he has for both of them because
that's why I picked up Keyshawn George in our fantasy league today.
Nice.
Yeah,
heady play.
Just sitting out there. It's like, you know what?
It's a heady play. It's a heady play. So yeah, I mean, De Silva, if he's starting for sure, and why wouldn't he? I guess with the way that they've been running their rotation. So
sure.
I am interested in what Denver does because
Strother's 37 here.
So like either way, he's playing just with the injury. Like if Murray is out, Strother is in play no matter what.
Yeah.
And then it's like, does Denver go with Strother in the starting lineup or do they go Peyton Watson? It just depends on. I think those are probably your two leading candidates.
Yeah, this matchup, I think they lean Watson for the defensive side.
I agree. But like look at the Toronto game, or I mean, you just see what the minute ceiling is. This is a first round pick from last year. He is an absolute flamethrower when he starts going offensively. And like, not to say that OKC can't put a good defender on him because they're literally 1 through 12 good defenders. Like that is just you're not on that team. Bench, you're not on that team if you're not. But like, if they need offense, like they're going to go. Like Julian Strother is going to be on the floor, and he's obviously been really good. So. It's a Murray contingent for me to get to Strother because the minutes will obviously dip. But if there's no if we already know Gordon's out and there's no Murray, I mean, we could be looking at a season high for minutes here.
Yeah, Andre Roberson's only 30 years old. How's he not on this Thunder team?
Andre Roberson would be a pretty good fit, but also they make so many threes. It would be tough for him to crack the rotation because of all the airball threes he used to put up.
Just straight up on-ball defender though.
Yeah, on-ball defender. Yeah, I mean, he would have this. He's missing out a lot.
He is. We got 26 out of George Niang in that game. So, we asked and thought like, all right, no Wade, no LeVert. Like, where does some of these minutes go? Kuro struggled, got an early foul trouble in that game. The Niang played the 26. I'm partial to Georges Niang there. So
I got one for you.
Kane?
No, but I got to ask, and I got to know what your opinion is.
Sure.
So did you see what Dallas did in the second half the other day without Derek Lively?
They go Najee? They did.
They started Najee Marshall over Daniel Gafford in the second half of that game.
Was that because Gafford got hurt in that game, though?
Gafford did not get hurt in that game.
No? Okay. I thought I got an update that like Gafford returned or something like that.
That was 2 games ago. He returned. Okay. Gafford still played in the second half. He came in at the 9-minute mark, which is usually like the Lively sub.
Sure.
Only played 5 minutes, then played a 2-minute stint, a 3-minute stint. No, 2:04 in the fourth, and then Najee Marshall basically played the entire second half.
Okay.
I don't know if this is the spot for it, but like Miles Turner played 33 minutes in that game, right? Mm-hmm. And Najee Marshall was on the floor. Do you think that they're comfortable with it with like PJ at the 5 if there's no Lively? Is that why you can do Najee Marshall?
Probably.
Where you're just like,
well, especially with Turner stretching the floor, right? Like,
well, Vooch does that, but he's obviously a big bruiser. Yeah, I mean, do you think that if there's no Lively, no Kleba, do we put some stock into a $3,400 Najee Marshall?
Probably. I bet ownership run tomorrow likes him.
If we get early news on Lively.
On Lively, yeah.
And Kleba, because both could return, right?
Sure.
If both return, then we don't have to really worry about this. But if both are out,
he also hit every shot.
Sure.
Played
very well. Also had 6 assists, also had 5 rebounds for the second consecutive game.
Straight game, yeah. All right. I mean, we saw him with the Pelicans. Like he had moments.
Good fantasy per minute guy.
Yep. That's probably it.
That's it.
Power forward, Tatum, Zion, LeBron. KD's at 88. That's a good price tag for him. Our boy Jalen Johnson, 87. Your top 5 guys here. I mean, obviously, again, Jalen Johnson.
I'm so sad at that game. He had 35 fantasy points at half. I had him at 4%. In a lineup, I put up 340 and been cashed. I mean, what are we doing?
Nobody scored in that game in the second half. Just like all the Derek White scored. I was gonna
say nobody on one side of the floor scored.
Yeah.
The other side of the floor, a little bit here, a little bit there.
KD's on for 50 and 3 of the last 5.
He's good. He's really good. He took over that game last night too. In the fourth quarter.
Because he can't. He's Kevin Durant. Our underdog team is just absolutely balling out right now. Jayson Tatum, Kevin Durant. We draft
Salute PG back.
Dude, yeah, PG's back. Yeah, dude, I think we have Chris Paul on that team, by the way. You know, right?
Chris Paul, pretty good team.
Yeah, we're gonna win that 100K. We're gonna do it.
That'd be pretty cool.
We're gonna win that 100K. So yeah, any of them, sure.
Yep.
I still like Pascal Siakam a lot. Like, I didn't do anything to turn me down. I get 36 fantasy points at 7,500. Is like, hit 10 of 16. You just like, some of the other peripheral stats kind of fell by the wayside here. I'm
good
happy to go right back here.
Yep, agreed.
Because they don't have anybody on the floor. So at the front court, they started Goga, right? Like that's
they did.
And Tazilva. So
I mean, Goga's Goga's a pretty good defender, but like obviously this team is just not as good as they were without WCJ and Pella.
Yeah. Triple J was disappointing.
He sure was. I'm shocked he even got the 2 blocks and steals because he had nothing going into that fourth quarter.
Nothing going. He had nothing working for him in that game. Had some fouls too, or obviously early because that's what he does. If there's no AD though, certainly becomes a bit more appealing. What do they do? Is Jackson Hayes away from the team right now? Because they're reevaluating his whole domestic.
Yeah, I saw the video. It's not good. He's in trouble. Let's see. The Lakers played the Pistons, and Jackson Hayes did
play 9 minutes. So they're just saying, okay, like we'll let the league figure it out.
Yeah, I know Redick made some comments on it, that they understand that it's being reopened, and they're willing to they're talking with the team.
Sure.
But like, if AD doesn't play, I mean, it is probably Hayes starting.
Because they don't even have Vanderbilt back yet. I just checked.
They don't have Vanderbilt. They don't also have depth. They don't have they just don't have another big. So it just kind of has to be.
Would have to go small ball with like LeBron at the 5.
Yeah, and Edey, well, dude, they probably can't, just considering what we just saw from Zach Edey last game. Like they would just get abused.
Edey with the walk-up 3. I saw that highlight.
I mean, he looked really. That was the first game where you're like, huh?
Yeah, he's kind of looked bad most of the season, right? But that was the first big Edey game. Again, power forward's pretty loaded. Like Siakam, if you want to go there, mid-tier options. You were right on Aldama yesterday. You told me like you wanted to do the under rebounds. Had another guy that just had nothing going. He went 0 for 6. He played the minutes. The minutes were good.
The minutes are great. Yep, the minutes.
But now 0 for 11 in his last 3 3-point attempts.
I remember we talked about that. Like, he looks like a guy who should shoot 40% from 3, and he's like 35% for his career. And then he came out 5 for 10 in game 1. We're like, he's fixed.
Here it is. He's fixed. Yeah.
And then
Nico Mirotic, we're back.
Yeah. And he hasn't made a 3 since.
So there's that. I don't mind PJ Washington. If you want to get there, guys playing a whole lot of minutes, feels pretty safe to me.
Agreed. Dude, 11 rebounds, no Derek Lively. I mean, I think that's a realistic.
3 blocks in 2 of the last 3 games. Here's a 3-block, 3-steal game against Houston.
3 blocks.
Don't mind it. Talk some of these other values already. I don't know. Anybody else for you?
Man, I can't look past how good OG Anunoby's been at 5K.
Royce O'Neal.
Dude, he's been really good. He's been really good off the bench. He's been very good. But like, he's a good player who's just playing on a team that like he would be starting, I think, for a lot of teams in the NBA.
Feels forever ago he was on Utah, right? Like
he was on Utah. Yeah. I think Royce O'Neal, like, situationally would be starting for a lot of teams. He just plays for a team that has no ability to start on.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you want to get to Royce, I think that's perfectly fine. It was definitely not Nikola Jovic day.
No.
Even though they ruled out Jaquez again, you just can't.
Yeah, and the love, they're just not doing it.
Yeah, they don't care.
It's
Robinson Earl. It's Robinson Earl. He started next to Misi. He played 34 minutes. And again, another situation where if there's no Zion, I get it. I understand.
Cleveland though,
dude. Yeah, but like
Mobley and Allen are gonna have this dude's lunch. He's like a 6'6" center.
But it doesn't matter. He's a 6'6" center who, if he plays 34 minutes, he's 3,600. You will not find another player at that price playing that many minutes.
All right.
Right? I mean, you won't.
Yeah, doesn't make it. Yeah, I mean, sure.
I get what you're saying.
Sure.
I'm not just, but like Jeremy Grant is a very skilled offensive player, and also if he was playing center at all in this game or matched up against Ayton, I mean there wasn't foul like
I don't think it's foul trouble. I think he's not going to get anything going offensively.
I mean that's a different discussion.
Okay,
for a
great. He
different
plays
day,
34
right?
minutes. He goes 1 for 4, and
Well, then play Peyton Watson, 3,400.
Well, that's where I was going to say that's where I think we're getting to here. Now it's not an easy cakewalk for Peyton Watson either, but defensively, at least we're going to get some numbers out of him. We think we're pretty
You want
sure.
to talk about fouls? This is the guy that you have to worry about because like OKC is just
5 fouls in 20 minutes versus Brooklyn, and then 5 fouls.
They are relentless attackers. Peyton Watson, relentless trying to block shots. I mean, this is.
Did you see the James Harden highlight of him just getting steals?
Super cool, dude. I like James Harden, so like it was like so fun. Whatever you can say about James Harden, he is always a good get in the lane and get a steal or poke away the basketball.
Just swatting the ball around, handing the ball.
It was very fun. It was very fun to watch.
All right, center again. There's Jokic at 11-7, looking for an MVP.
Going to get an. If this is what we're getting, he's winning the MVP.
Yeah,
is what it is. Kind of.
Yeah. So like, sure, knock yourself out. Get to 11-7. He faced them early. He played 35 minutes. He had 60 fantasy points. His worst game of the year. 60 fantasy points, the lowest total he's had all season.
They scored 80. They scored 87 points in that game.
Yeah, he's still triple-doubled.
They've scored 116 in 5 straight games.
Yeah, and now they're missing 2 starters. So
yes, play him. I mean, if you want to get to him, like yeah.
If you want to, that's fine. Again, remember this was a game where we were unsure to do what to do with Chet, and then Chet's like, "No, I'm a defensive player of the year candidate, guys. Just putting my name back out there." And we're like, "All right, 6 of 13." Then Joker realized he has to start shooting. Get to him if you want. AD would be my play, 10-7, assuming he would play. I mean, he's been pretty monstrous here, and then of course 2 of the last 3 for Wemby. He's gone for 70. He went for 54 in that second game with 20 rebounds, 9 plus blocks and steals. Dude, 12 plus blocks and steals, 12 plus blocks and steals, 9 plus blocks and steals. On DraftKings, that is 24 to 18 fantasy.
No, you were doing the math wrong there.
No, DraftKings. FanDuel, it's 3, right?
The 10-28, he had 4 blocks with 5 assists.
Oh, right. I was doing this one.
we were counting assists as
blocks and steals.
I mean, honestly, he's the only one. He's the only one that actually looks similar because
that's right. It wouldn't have looked weird. But he still had 10 against Utah and 12 against.
Yes.
Yeah. So if you want to get to Wemby, knock yourself out. Right.
Like, this is one of those weird spots though that they always use Dillon Brooks on Wemby, which has always been a weird thing. For him, he has like not conquered it completely. He did have the big 29-point game.
Had 20 rebounds.
And he did. Yeah, he had the 20 rebounds and 29 points in different games. So like put those together and maybe like, we figured it out.
Chad is cooled.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, again, 18 minutes played, hit the 3.
Two of the last 3, he just hasn't had to play minutes.
Yeah. So I like Vuk. We talked a lot about it last night. I think Vuk and Towns again are going to be 2 guys that draw a lot of ownership. Great matchups for them. They're playing their peaks, getting 32 minutes out of their 42 fantasy points, so they're fine. You were in on Bam. You called him out again yesterday.
Dude, he's an elite player. I mean, he's just a good. He's going to be first team. Yeah, I mean he has first team defense capabilities. Unfortunately, will he get it with Wemby? I don't think I think it's positionless, so you could give both of them. 7,500 is too cheap. I mean, Nurkic is just not athletic enough, I think, to hang with Bam. So
I agree. And the added Bam, he's shooting.
And then he made the 3 finally.
Not making them, but he's shooting them.
To the Royce, back to the Royce O'Neal point, by the way, this does feel like a Royce game because it feels better for him or Bam. Durant to just be on Bam as opposed to Nurk. This is not a good Nurk spot.
Which Cleveland guy?
This is one of those situations. I just don't know. I have no idea.
Feels
They're
like more
both,
consistently the ceilings have been to Allen.
yeah. I mean, he's like, I think Mobley's ceiling. Like, we play Mobley because he has, as a player in the NBA, his ceiling feels greater,
Sure.
right? He can shoot threes. Like, this is a defensive player of the year candidate, like from Jump Street. Um, Jared Allen is just like can do it all. Like, they can literally run the offense through him. He can catch in the high post and operate. So I don't know. It probably Allen. Mobley has positional eligibility over him. I don't know.
5,900 Jalen Duran gets Charlotte.
Yeah, they started Taj Gibson. They quite literally started Taj Gibson.
They don't have a center.
They have Taj Gibson. He's 55 years old.
He didn't foul out against AD, but he did pick up 5 fouls and played 24 minutes.
That is
against Brooklyn. He doesn't get in foul trouble. He plays 33 and he has 47.
50 bomb.
He is going to be in our lineups, and I guarantee you we'll know the type of night we're having within the first 3 minutes of this game.
So they're going to start Taj, right? That just kind of feels what they're going to do. They, in the first quarter, Grant Williams was the first sub. So that was your small ball center. Do they keep him on the floor with Grant playing, do you think?
I don't know, because we always think like, oh, like if they put a smaller guy on the floor, like Durant will just eat.
But if Grant just floats around the perimeter, you're like
take him off the floor. But what's their play to counter that? What's their Stewart? Just
Stewart, because they had him. You remember last year, Stewart was playing power forward.
Power forward,
so,
yeah. I still think we're gonna play Durant in the slate.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not like necessarily disagreeing with you on Jaren Durant. I'm just saying more.
Yeah, last year, this guy got off to like 3 straight 50 bombs. We're like, this guy's hurt. Here, like here we go, and then I don't know what happened. He got
hurt. He got hurt.
Yeah. And he just fell out of favor after that. Let's see. Atlanta's going to play their guys because they're going up against Towns.
Yep.
What did Mo Wagner get? Mo Wagner got 20 minutes. We know he's a fantasy point per minute guy.
Dude, Goga was great. Both of them were great. Goga was better. And if Goga starts, I'd probably just lean that direction with their prices like the way that they are.
Is this a revenge game? Was Goga on Pacers before?
He was. Yep.
Yeah.
He was. Yep, it is.
You got Messi, probably top spot. You mentioned Gafford. Gafford played 15 in that game. Edie, do you trace? if no Davis, you probably play Edie, right?
Yeah, because then you're getting combinations of Jackson Hayes and Hachimura and possibly LeBron. And again, it's a situation. What does Memphis do? Do they take Edie off the floor? Do they not? He's going like he did against Brooklyn. They're not taking him off the floor.
What does Boston do? Do they play Neemias Queta?
They have to. He was great. He was so good.
First of all, Joe Mazzulla doesn't have to do anything.
Yeah, he doesn't care. He doesn't care.
Queta played 23 minutes. Didn't close with the bench guys, which you were upset about.
Super. So, dude, not a lot. I mean, 20% of the field. Not a lot of people pivoted to Queta.
$3,200.
Price didn't move. Like, there is not a single idea what's gonna happen. I would say we give the edge to Cornette. That feels correct. It feels like Cornette in this game would play over Queta. He's 42. But like, if we got a starting lineup and Neemias Queta was starting, then I would, because Golden State's running double big. Draymond at the 4, and they're playing
Davis.
Trace Jackson Davis at center. So, I mean, if Cornette starts, I have interest in Cornette. If Queta starts, I mean, we just saw it. I was shocked at how long they played him in the third quarter. I think he played the whole third quarter. They didn't take him off the floor. So, knowing that Neemias Queta has the motor to do that, he played the first 8:53 of the third quarter and then never came back into the game. So whoever's starting, I mean, they also could go small and play Hauser. We haven't seen that yet. Mazzulla's just trying things out. So, but yeah, whoever's starting, if one of these two guys are starting, then I mean, it's hard to not play them because when At least we've seen the starter is playing the minutes.
Yeah.
Right. Because I messaged you yesterday, I was like, "What are you doing? Are you pivoting to
I bet
Queta?" Or no. And you were like, "I'm pivoting to Queta," and ultimately I agreed because now we're seeing it. Like Cornette
whoever
started,
starts.
played 30 minutes. Queta started, played 23.
And if that game was competitive, like we think, he probably steps back into the fourth and gets up
Correct.
to 28 minutes, right?
Correct. So I think the starter is going to get a good amount of run and is worth an option.
And again, this is I know I've said this on a few players. I bet optimizers are going to love Queta early tomorrow because they're going to project him as a starter because he was just the starter.
And we already have Jaylen Brown out. It's not like
and Jaylen Brown's already out, right? So they're going to probably love him at 3,200 and probably project him for like 22 fantasy points. It'll be like 40%. So, all right. Fun time of the show here. Center is obviously loaded with top end and a value. We also have the utility spot to our advantage here.
Yeah. I mean, what are we doing spend up? It's hard to get away from, I think, the itches. Jokic, Doncic. I think
so Jokic feels more likely to hit.
Where Luka has the dream spot.
Luka has the best matchup.
I mean, the Bulls they lost to the
They're still a 10-point home favorite, though. So, like, both teams are probably.
Yeah, but Luka plays 40 minutes.
Luka plays blowouts. Yeah, Luka plays blowouts, anyways. Denver's +6 at home. So, we go Luka. And then, I mean, do we do Durant and then Queta or something like that? Just like plug in a value play, or do you want to do Cornette and save money?
Let's figure out if we got like other value before.
I mean, with Luka and Durant, we have 5,400. We know that there was definitely other value.
Yeah, Peyton Watson.
Yeah. Would you do Watson or De Silva?
Probably Peyton Watson, just because we've seen the ceiling from Peyton Watson, where De Silva, not that he 27 fantasy points, but it wasn't like it was more in a blowout than it was in anything else.
Okay. I mean, ultimately, probably get the both if they both start or something like that, anyways. So,
sure.
And
De Silva has the small forward eligibility too, so it fits. Champagny.
I said Champagny, Boston.
Like I would say Boston is an obvious play if we get no Zion, no Hawkins, but Champagny feels good regardless, and then upside if Sohan sits.
I mean, we like Chris Paul at 59.
Love Chris Paul.
That's 62. We need to figure out how to get LeBron.
Why would we not play OG Anunoby? He's been so good.
Play LeBron and OG? Don't actually. I mean, why not? I mean, right now we're getting LeBron, right? Like, and LeBron's probably good no matter what at this point.
Yeah, 4,800.
Goga.
And
obviously, if we did Queta, we'd have an extra 1,600 somewhere. So
yeah, we'd probably just move up off OG or Champagny, one of the two.
All right. I mean, it'd probably be Goga, honestly.
Yeah, it's probably Goga.
Yeah. So yeah, example lineup. If we wanted to go in this direction, Luka, Champagny, James, Watson, Durant, Paul, Anunoby, and Goga, $0 left over. We'll be live again at 5 p.m. Eastern time. Hopefully some more injury news will come out, and James and I will have some more information. We'll answer your questions, and we'll build a new lineup that y'all ready for this 10-game Wednesday slate. Good luck, everybody, till then, and we'll catch you later.